So what is timing of a golf swing? I've never worked on it. I don't think you need to. So let's go talk about the sequence and timing of a great golf swing.
Moe's dramatic difference begins with the grip and supports his remarkable ability to consistently repeat his golf swing.
Chasing with the hands?
Yep. See there, I chased. Dead straight.
By chased, you mean your hands are still working up the
still going fast when I finish.
Okay.
Still fast when I finish. Not slowing down. It's perfect.
Here are 3 different swings, all with a wedge. From the beginning of the backswing to impact is a phenomenally constant 759 thousandths of a second, as measured by our video sciences and shown to you at a more watchable speed. Similar timing of 7 and 4 iron shows Moe consistently repeats at 825 thousandths of a second. His driver times out, measured that way, at 858 thousandths of a second every time. No matter what club Moe swings, wedge, 7 iron, 4 iron, or driver, his downswing is always 7 video frames. Each video frame is 33 thousandths of a second. Moe's downswing arithmetic, then, is always and precisely 231 thousandths of a second. Always and exactly. That's repeatable tempo.
Whew. So the timing and sequence of a golf swing. Hey, it's a chicken and the egg problem. People want to work on the timing of the swing. I've never worked on it, but there's a reason I've never worked on it. It's because I mastered the positions of the swing, and that's what led to my timing. So we got to talk about what is it? What is timing of a golf swing? Now, if you look at a 3D kinematic sequence chart of a golf swing, here's what you see. You'll see that the backswing is 3 times as long as the downswing. There's a 3-to-1 ratio. I've never worked on it, I've never had to, but that's the ideal sequencing of backswing to downswing ratio when you look at good swing motions. So the question becomes, how do you work on that relationship? And the way you do it is through the proper positions of the swing. Now I'm going to show you what I did to create the ideal timing without even thinking about it, and it's all about creating limitations in your movement. And I know it sounds a little bit hokey here, but if you put your body in the correct positions, your timing will evolve and you'll sequence correctly. So most of the time what you see is people take it back too far and then they have a hard time getting bound to impact. So they got a very slow timing in the backswing and a very slow timing in the downswing. It's all kind of messed up. So here's what I want you to do. There's 2 limitations you can create in the swing. One limitation is backswing limitations. So how do I do that? Well, obviously you need to accomplish an ideal single plane address. I'm going to brace against this trail leg. And in doing so, remember I'm tilted to the side in side bend. I'm going to take it back and maintain my tilt against this trail leg. So what you're seeing is a bracing here and a limitation of how much my pelvis can turn in my tilt, which limits the amount my body can move. I'm creating a limitation of my backswing. Okay? In other words, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. My head's staying relatively still. I'm keeping in position. So the position of my tilt forward and tilt to the side allows me to get to this limited backswing position. Now, I can do that pretty quickly, right? Look at that. I can go pretty quickly to the top. So there's my timing sequence. As long as I can make that position, stay in position correctly, I can efficiently move to the top. All right, so I got this backswing, ideal backswing position and limitation, and I hit my position, right? Train that, practice that, hit your top of the backswing position. Now, in the downswing, how do I master the downswing timing? Well, I'm going to basically do the same exact thing but in the opposite direction. So what I'm going to do here is basically I'm going to go into the lead knee like we've talked about before, and then I'm going to rotate. And I've got to tell you something. From the top of the swing, I rotate as much as I can to here. Now, I don't think about impact. I don't think about anything except getting to here. So I call it rotate, rotate. I rotate back and I rotate through, right? Now, what are my limitations, right? Well, obviously, my lead foot has a limitation, my lead knee, because it's bent, and my foot's on the ground. it forces my lower body into a limitation, right? Yeah, I can't go anymore. My upper body now goes, well, I got a limitation too because I can't move any more than that. There's my limitation here. So I go from one limitation here to another limitation here. And that is as much as my body can go. So once again, I'm not trying to time my golf swing. I'm simply stabilizing it and stabilizing it. I'm rotating and rotating, and I don't have to think about my timing. Now, what's funny about it is that when I go to hit a golf shot here, and I'll hit a 6-iron, is that I don't think about any of that. I just rotate into my limitation and then rotate through, and because of my lower body's position, I don't think about a thing. So one of the keys to my timing is what I call stabilize and separate, which has a lot to do with positions. What I mean by stabilize and separate is that during the swing, certain parts of the body, as I've discussed in other videos, certain parts are slowing down as other parts continue to move or speed up. So you have these sequence of events that are occurring in the swing. Now remember, I'm not thinking about this stuff. I'm not sitting here consciously doing this. Now I've practiced it, right, on the range like I'm doing today, but when I play golf, I don't think about any of this stuff. So I just want you to know that these are things that I trained, right? I've trained on the range and I developed and I practiced. They don't take a long time to practice. They're actually pretty easy to do, but I call it stabilize and separate. Here's what I mean, and it happens on both sides of the motion. Stabilize and separate is occurring in the backswing motion and the downswing. So you have the stabilization of the backswing and a separation. Then you have a stabilization of the downswing and a separation. It's actually pretty easy to do, but you got to do the limitation thing that I talked about. So here we go. So I'm at address. I take it into the backswing. There's a stabilization against that trail leg. So there's my stabilization, and then my arms and hands separate from my body. So it's a stabilization, separation. Then it's a stabilization, rotation, watch this, and then separation again. This separating from this. So let me go through that again. It's a rotation, separation, stabilization, rotation, separation. See what's happening? And that's all a function of what's happening here, because this is the stabilizer of the golf swing. This is stabilizing this motion. This is your speed producer, right? So this thing's separating, it's zipping speed through the golf ball. This thing's supporting this. Now people talk about all the time that the lower body produces speed. I disagree with that. This stabilizes so that this can produce speed. Now granted that if this doesn't stabilize, you don't produce speed, right? So a lot of people equate that as, well, here's a big speed producer. I don't agree. This must rotate, this must accelerate, right? You can't produce much speed with the pelvis, but you sure can put it in a position to produce speed. So once again, I'm stabilizing and positioning this. I'm producing rotation and speed and separating this. Let me go through that one more time because it's really important. So here we go. Stabilization, separation. I'm going to blend that into one. Stabilization, rotation, separation. Okay? Hit a shot for you. You can see all that. And the timing of the swing shows up as a 3-to-1 ratio, the exact perfect timing of a golf swing.